actually does a lot of Interchange work. Recently we started using Itesi, or as we like to call the package deal, Interchange 6, which is currently like almost like Perl 6. So not really ready yet, but we are really actively working on it. And I'm going to talk about the demo that we've been working on. Currently it's the best vaporware around for e-commerce, but we hope it will be just best stuff around soon. When I started using Interchange, like almost 8 years ago, almost 10 years ago actually, 2004, it was quite cool. It had like a huge amount of features. You could do whatever you want with it. But there was this demo which was kind of, I don't know, I tried using it, and then Davor, who was working with Interchange at the time, he went to school with me, and he told me, yeah, just don't use the demo, start from scratch, it will be better for you. So I did that, and I always kind of felt sorry that the demo isn't, you might say, representative. Okay, Josh did a strap now, but we would like to do something really special for Interchange 6. So IC5 demo is like a shiny castle with all these nice features, but it's like getting rotten more and more. We all know that. It's got no new improvements, it decays by time, it can't accomplish its main goals, which is attracting people who don't know anything about Perl, don't know anything about Interchange, and who could just install it in like really short amount of time. Actually, this part I think never worked, that you could just set it up in like 10 minutes and have the stuff running, unless you really knew what you're doing. None of the bigger companies, I think, like Endpoint and Perusian, actually deployed the demos. They always did like their own stuff. And the demo was more of like, this is what Interchange can do, so start your own shop from scratch and do something. We'd like to have a functional demo for Interchange 6, something that you could actually use and adapt to your own needs. I know a lot of people did this with standard demo, but it wasn't so easy to do. So, trying to get new users. This has been a long trip for us. We went to Linux Tag 2007, then to Linux Tag 2008, and then I didn't go to Linux Tag 2009, but a lot of guys did. It was a huge investment in time, huge investment in money. We even got some funding for the promo items like t-shirts and stuff like that. There was a whole bunch of guys there like Gert van der Spiel, John Jensen, Rocky, me, Davor, Sebastian Klees, Falk Neubert, I can't even remember all of them, it's like 10 guys who were trying to sell Interchange to people, like explaining them how cool it was, but it didn't work. In 3 years in a row, we didn't get one single customer for Interchange, or at least somebody who would start a bit of hacking. And there was like 10,000 people every year at this conference at least. Most of them were interested in e-commerce, wanted to do some e-commerce, had e-commerce customers, and none of them picked up on Interchange. And we were the only e-commerce project there. So that kind of depressed us, I mean, obviously. So what happened? Visitors didn't like the demo. They hated it. They said, okay, this doesn't look good, even in 2007. They didn't like the code. When we showed them ITL, they were like, that's a lot of stuff. But they were amazed by the looks of Interchange production shops. Like when we showed them FragranceNet or Backcountry or whatever, they were like, wow, there's like a lot of stuff that you can do with this. And I want to do that, but it seems really, really hard to come to that. So, but it was fun back there. We had a booth and everything, and it was running nice. Rocky was younger, and we were all younger actually. So this hardware shop that's like standard demo and foundation demo just weren't enough, didn't cut it over here. So I met Sandro Groganz at this Linux Tag. He's the guy who did a lot of marketing for open source projects, helped them to basically gain some momentum. This was 5 or 6 years ago. and I was basically begging him to help us for free. And he sat down with me for a few hours and told me all the stuff that I basically already knew, but somebody else needed to tell me. Like, you need a new website, you need a simple demo, you need something that people can simply install, simply use, and you need a nicer looking code and better documentation. Which all sounds nice when he's saying it, but doing it is a whole different deal. So, the IC5 demo, I mean, most of you know how this looks like. It might have been nice at a point, like in the 2000s, really like 2001, 2002, back when it was made, but no way it's gonna work now. So we started the IC6 demo basically as a sandbox. When we started with Nitesi, we wanted to see how it will work out, not as a plugin for Dancer, but how will the entire Interchange 6, as we like to call it, basically look like in the end. So we got this failed project of ours, it's called the Flower Shop. So we GPL'd the template basically and said, okay, we're gonna use this. It's really small, really simple, but it got unmaintained. We're basically using it just like to show people how Nitesi works. It needs heavy renovation. It's rarely visited, so it's like this small mountain cabin that's like deserted for the most of the time. People go there, like Rake goes there once every few months and sees if the stuff still works. So this stuff doesn't cut it either. I mean, we know that we can't deploy this and expect people to just like, it's like a lot like spree demo, where you have like a small code base. Looks nice, but it's just not enough for any serious use. This is how it looks like, and you can even access it. The design isn't that bad. Okay, it could be updated also, but it's got some nice features, but the thing is you have to do a lot of stuff manually, it assumes a lot of stuff, and it's just not flexible enough for anybody that wants to do any serious business. So we started thinking about how Interchange 6 will look like. We had Dancer, which is already done, so we didn't have to worry about the sessions and all that other stuff. Nitesi was mainly done. I mean, we use it on a lot of projects, so more or less works. Template Flute is in the same condition. We use it in production. Could use a bit more users just so that probably there's a lot of corner cases that should be still solved, but it's there. So the last part that was missing was basically the front end. We decided, much like Josh, to use Bootstrap. It's not perfect. It's got its issues like V3C, W3C standards, stuff like that, but it's really simple to use and simple to edit, and a lot of companies are using it and browsers support it really well. So we said, okay, we go with this, and a lot of designers like it because it's really simple to make websites with it. So we started working on the FrontShop. Basically, phase 1 is we want to do cart, checkout, listing, and the flight page. So really simple stuff. That's where we plan on getting a few of you guys saying, okay, this isn't that bad. Phase 2 is solar, localization, caching, similar items, related items, upsell, and all that stuff, which basically brings it up to a point where you can use it for whatever you want. And the phase 3 would be adding all kinds of payment and shipping gateways, and as it goes, like, and as people need it. So we'll see how that will run. Then we thought, okay, this is all nice and well, but we need an admin, because even for the current customers, like Sam, needs an admin for this stuff, and the old admin is cool. It's also got a lot of features, works well, but it doesn't support the new database model that we want to use, and it would be hard. Our opinion was that it would be harder to change it than just writing a new one. So that's also Bootstrap based. It was intended as a general Dancer admin. Hopefully we get other Dancer users to use it on different projects that aren't e-commerce by rewriting Mike's table editor. So it's like recycling his idea brings us new users. This stuff is really, really, really good, and that, for me personally, it was one of the things that I liked most about old Interchange, and that's the thing that we want to have inside, and a thing that potentially could get a lot of different users, which perhaps even aren't related to e-commerce, could get on board. So as we already started work on this, and it's pretty much in process, and we hope to have the admin part really soon. So it's split into customers, where you can have like affiliates and B2B customers with special pricing or something like that, and normal customers. Products, where you can have bundled products, product variations, discounts, promos, all that stuff. It looks much like, let's say, Google AdWords admin, where you have like everything is tabular, you can edit a lot of stuff, or like the old IC5 demo. I mean, it's not rocket science. Categories and orders. So this is what we're going to start with. And the idea is that if you want to add some other tables, you can add your own. This is how it looks like. I managed to persuade this guy here in the corner to GPL this code. He did a theme on some site that sells themes, and he actually GPL'd it. Took like I gave him some $20 or I don't remember. I think really cheap, and he said, "Okay, I'm giving it like to use for admin." And the stuff is pretty flexible, and since it's GPL, it makes it easier to get into distributions, but also it makes it like legally clean to edit and do all that stuff with it. And I thought it looks like pretty slick and much like modern stuff. It's got all these graphs and widgets and all this stuff inside, so it's pretty neat. It's called Metro Admin Theme. You can get it on Wrap, Bootstrap, or somewhere. You have to pay for it. But since I've got the since you have to pay for it if you go to the site, but I will put somewhere on GitHub the GPL version. So it's basically the same thing, just he still charges for it somewhere. So the installation process was a thing that I think a lot of people had problems in Interchange 5, and Raka and I discussed this years ago, like back at the Linux Tag days. How do we present Interchange 5 in a simple manner? So we had these ideas about making all kinds of scripts which would install the standard demo, and I don't know, all kinds of complex stuff that basically in the end nobody had time to do, or came halfway doing it. So the idea is for normal distributions to have a package like Red Hat and Debian, have a virtual image ready on the site to download, which isn't like today, it's no rocket science to prepare, and to have an ISO for like live distribution. You just install it on your server or Raspberry Pi or whatever, and you can play at home. Some people don't like this, but I personally and a lot of other people find it neat that you can just take some old PC, put the CD inside, install it, and then have it like in a corner of your office and play with it. And it's always there, and it takes off all the time of preparing for like installation and all that stuff, which you don't really want to worry about, MySQL and la la la. Marketing. So ideally, we'd like this stuff to like get some customers. So marketing, in our opinion, is like supposed to be based on three main goals. Like it's fast, it's easy to use, and it's pretty. So fast. The plan is that the demo will be pre-filled, the database will be pre-filled with 1 million products, 100,000 users, and 10,000 categories. The reason, okay, you can, of course, randomly generate the data. The reason for this is that if a serious customer or potential customer comes and says, okay, I can see it's like similar to Magento, but how fast is it? Basically, if he puts it on his own computer, he already gets like this huge amount of data and sees that it works on it. It kind of makes you more comfortable with it. At least that's what I think. It should be simple to use. It should be easy to create new themes. And it should, of course, have table editor. Pretty. Ideally, at some point in time, it should be packaged with more than one theme. Like adding new GPL themes for it. And also doing some theme marketing. by putting some themes on the theme market websites where a lot of small shop owners are going. I know this because I get them all the time on email, like, can you help me install like OpenCart or Magento or whatever. I don't do that, but what they usually end up doing is they go to some theme marketplace, buy a theme for 50 bucks, install it into Magento, and it works nicely for them, at least in the beginning. Later on they found out that that stuff is okay. Anyway, so if we put a few Interchange themes on the theme marketing websites, people who see them there and say, okay, it's nice, I get this theme for, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks, I want to use it. And in the end, the designers notice this stuff because they are on these marketplaces too. So they start creating new themes. It probably won't be easy, but it will take time, but I think that's the right way to go. And in the end, we want Interchange to be like a nice, shiny castle again. When? Linux Tech 2014, so this is our goal that we've set. Now that it's public, it's even worse, so we actually have to do it. We want to hit that Berlin again and go to that 10,000 people with something new, and we actually want to do something this time.